Hey guys, it's Christina. This is voxandstix. And look at the handsome, dashing collective of manly men pointing at each other that is, in fact, Rehaab. How you guys doing?
Yeah, good. Thank you.
Very good. Yeah.
Very cool.
Look at them. Look at them. They're just so pretty and happy looking. Guys, before we do anything else, introduce yourselves really quickly. Tell everybody who you are, what you do in the band.
All right. I'm Roy. I'm a vocalist.
I'm Mutt. I play lead guitar and rhythm guitar.
I'm Les and I play the bass.
And I'm Grant and I play the drums.
Well, there you go. And nobody's playing the kazoo. There's no kazoo.
No.
We all take turns.
Okay, that's good. You share one kazoo. You must be really close as a band. That's a whole hygiene war. But okay, all right. So now you guys know who they are. I know the indie community watching this, we have such a great community and they know you, but they might not know you as well as they're going to by the end of this show. But I start every show with a really serious, important, significant, thought-provoking. I don't want to call it genius, but you know, I mean, if somebody did, I wouldn't complain. Question. Okay. And I would like to get this from each of you. So, you know, yeah, gird your loins, gird whatever, do whatever to your loins you need to. Are you ready? Here it comes.
All right.
She got the right.
All right.
Man.
You guys are in New Zealand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good question.
So I've got it. Yes. Thank you. It took hours for me to come to that one. I was like, should I ask it this way? Are you in New Zealand or you guys are in New Zealand? Right. And I went back and forth. Not the question, but a good one. Okay, so as people living in New Zealand, I must ask you, at this point, are you more fucking tired of hobbits or sheep?
Or what?
Sheep. Hobbits or sheep?
Sheep.
No,
Never tired
no.
of sheep. No.
No, we like, yeah. Sheep are good. Yeah.
We love
Sheep are
sheep.
good.
Nice.
Are you implying hobbits are not good?
Whether they made us famous.
They did. It's
They
true.
did. They made us famous. Yeah.
But they're not real. You know, you can really get to know a sheep.
Oh, yes, you can. And we're not going to get into that too much because then we'd have to slap a rating on this show that we're not used to. But yes, you can get to know a sheep. You can have conversations, play chess. That's what they were talking about, America. Yeah. Okay. So if you had to come down to it, you would get rid of the hobbits and keep the sheep.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Is this a total band consensus? Does anyone dissent? Is anyone quietly, Mutt, are you quietly going?
Oh, he looks like a hobbit man.
Yeah, you do, man.
Do not look like he's far too tall to be a hobbit. Maybe he's a really tall hobbit. I don't know. You're not a sheep though, Mutt. And so for that, we're grateful. So, all right. Okay. So everybody agrees. We're good with the sheep. All right, there you go, people. This is what we learn. This is how Americans like to form relationships with people in other countries. We like to ask stupid questions based on stereotypes, and there you have it. So, okay, so now that we've gotten the hard-hitting journalism out of the way, let's have a little more fun. So you guys I really love your music. I really do. So I've been really excited to get you on this show. And, you know, time zones and all that be damned. But I like to start sort of simple and way back, which is how did each of you get into music and how did you all meet up and become a band? And anybody can start, doesn't matter to me. Although everybody keeps pointing to Roy because he sings.
How much time do we have?
We've got 11 hours and 15 minutes. So
right.
yeah, you can devote as much of that to the answer. Yeah, give me because I know you guys have a roster of previous bands that is like the lineup to some festival. It's very long and very storied, and we'll get into all of those things too. But just in a basic way, were you guys musicians as kids? Did you hear, you know, like start real? When did you get into it? And then how did you guys form up? So I don't know who wants to take it first.
I think basically the reason why we're together is either good luck or bad luck, to be quite honest.
No, when did you start, Roy?
Eh?
When did you start playing music?
When did I start maybe
Before
playing
you could
music?
walk?
Yeah, each
Oh
of
my
you.
God.
I want to know how you guys became musicians in the first place.
Well,
before you
I started in a big band, lead trumpet for Taringa Boys College.
Okay, lead trumpet.
And I started playing the accordion. in a Scottish big sort of folk accordion band. It was just accordions and drums.
Wow. Accordion. How old were you when you started playing the accordion?
Really young, about 10 or something.
Okay. An accordion.
Well, I was always more
was it
interested
just
in
to get women, or like why did you pick up the accordion specifically?
Well, initially, yes, it was just to get women, but it didn't work out.
Classic tale. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then the drums came along, and I was always more interested in that.
Okay.
And my dad had a big record collection that included the Kinks and the Rolling Stones, so that's how I got into it.
Ah, those are very good gateway musical drugs. I appreciate that. Okay. Because
Yeah.
Roy, don't think I'm going to let you slide on that. Oh, I just did you tell me, how old were you when you started singing? Give me something. That was a weenie kind of response, man. You got to tell me more.
No, that was it, man. I just took up trumpet in the big band, and that was when I was about 14.
Yes, but now you sing and don't play the trumpet. So something happened in the middle there that I'm trying to get you to tell me about.
Divorce.
Oh,
It's called
okay.
divorce. Yeah.
Did you and the trumpet get divorced, or what?
No, it's just called divorced and depression. So I had to take up something to sort of fill the void.
Oh, okay. So I'm getting from that either you got married and divorced really young, or you started singing a little bit later on.
He was 15 at the time.
I don't know.
Okay. Just
I
world
spent a lot of
weary.
time on the bed bouncing around to music and pretending, with the hairbrush and stuff. But that was about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You brushed the trumpet.
No, with a hairbrush, man, jumping around. Yeah.
You brushed the trumpet.
Anyway.
I mean, a trumpet, a sheep, whatever you want to brush, it's fine. You're in New Zealand. There are no rules. You guys can do whatever the hell you want. All right, Roy, apparently this is a state secret, audience. We're not allowed to know at what age Roy started singing or why. He's just going to tell us the bare minimum, which as an interviewer, by the way, I love that. So thank you, Roy. All right, fine. Screw you then. You've missed your opportunity. All right, Laz, Mutt, who's going to take the next one? Maybe with more words than your front man.
I started playing acoustic guitar, when I was about 18.
Okay.
And then about a couple of years later, I got an electric guitar. And then probably a year later, I got into bands. And I've been playing in bands ever since. I've been in and out of a lot of bands, different bands.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we're going to get into that too.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry.
Played most of my life.
Your whole life. Okay. And when you got the first guitar, was it somebody just handed it to you? Were you like, I want to learn to play guitar? Was that chosen for you?
No, it was basically my friend bought an acoustic guitar. And then so I thought, I've got to get into this. So I bought an acoustic guitar as well.
Okay.
And, I ended up playing it, but I couldn't tune it or anything like that. And the strings broke. So I ended up with only like 4 strings. And then I bought
you became a bass player. Yeah. Okay.
I bought an electric guitar, and then that's sort of what I got into after that was electric.
Okay.
And listening to rock music and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so clearly it was not for the women, or you would have gone with Grant's thing and picked up the accordion.
No,
so
it was a competition between me and my friend.
It sounds like it. Okay, well, I'm glad your friend drove you to learn guitar out of spite or whatever, because now we have you. So that's great. All right, Laz, lay it on me. Tell me the story.
Well, I started just right at the beginning of high school. Is it called high school in America?
Yeah.
College.
Wait. Well, there's high school and there's college. So
is high school younger?
Yes.
Yeah. So it would have been what, 13 or so?
Oh, okay. Yeah, here that's
and,
we call that middle school because we have to have names for things that make no sense. It's not really in the middle of anything, but that's okay. So, all right. So 13, we could go with that. We'll use a number.
About there, yeah.
Okay.
In
13.
the middle of schooling. And yeah, had a mate who was a drummer, and he was right into that. And I had another mate who was playing guitar, and that seemed like a pretty good way to spend your lunchtime. So so I got into that and started playing guitar and brought an electric guitar. And we'd just spend the lunch times and whatnot, just trying to get better and learn from the better musicians. And we ended up another mate of mine was playing guitar, so we had 3 guitarists and no bass player. And
Why does
one of
that
the other
always
guys-
happen? It
Yeah,
always
yeah.
somebody. Most of the bass players I talked to were like, "Well, we needed a bass player," and then that's
Yeah,
it.
and
You
that
did
was it.
play guitar,
The
but we
singing
already had-
guitarist had a
Yeah.
bass guitar, and he was like,
Okay.
"Here you go. I'll give you this bass guitar if you play it." And I was like, "Yeah, sweet, free guitar."
Yeah, all right.
So
That's not a-
so then I started playing bass and never looked back. And now that guitaring is just a little bit too little and
Too many strings.
too many strings and too fiddly. I just
Too many strings and too fiddly. I
Give me
like
the
it.
simple bump.
You need to
Love it.
do like Amazon reviews of instruments and just go on and be like, guitar, too many strings, too fiddly. That's it. And then people. Okay, all right. So I got it, except for you, Roy. Damn it, I got it out of pretty much everybody. I have a good background on how long you guys have roughly been playing. So how did these many disparate stories come together to form the glory that is Rehab?
Email.
Wow. Yeah.
Email, sexy answer, Laz. I like that. Okay, talk to me about email. Tell me how that happened.
Well, I just answered an ad and went for an audition with these guys.
Okay, so
Um,
these guys were already together. So how
Well,
did
Roy and
these
I
guys?
were.
Okay.
Roy and I were previously in a band called Hybrid Blues,
Okay.
which split up due to a bit of a tragedy, actually. And we'd known Mutt from a distance. We'd known Mutt and
Yeah.
loved his guitar playing.
Okay. Just
So he
gazing at
came
him from
along-
afar, or like you saw him play in shows, or what was
Yeah,
it?
so I'm
Oh,
playing
yeah,
sets
playing in
Through
the
your
same-
bedroom window, Mutt? Just
Oh, he's playing in a band called Electric Universe. They're
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
mhm.
Playing around town.
Okay.
Awesome.
So you guys saw each other in different
Yeah,
bands, and
pretty
okay.
much.
Yeah.
Everybody
Okay.
sort of kind of knows what everyone's up
And
to.
then it sort of came down to Faded all at the same time. Funny enough, just after
Yes.
giving it a bit of time with the breakup with Hybrid Blues, I gave Mutt a text and he said, funny enough, I've just left my band. So yeah, it all came together.
It
Yeah, it
lined
was a
up.
bit of work, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then
And
the
then I had
three of
to
you.
audition.
Okay, I'm sorry.
It all came together pretty quickly, actually. I was quite
Okay,
amazed.
yeah. And then
It all just felt a bit-
what
felt a
year
bit-
were you officially the four of you?
Last year,
It was
21.
not that long ago.
I wasn't sure if it was
October.
21 or 22.
I think it was October 21.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
23 now, aren't we?
Yep.
Really? Is it been 2 years?
Look at you, Grant, knowing the year.
23.
It's all that accordion practice.
Yeah,
He's
last
just
year
like
we
a
did get
whip.
that
He doesn't miss
before.
anything. Okay. So, all right. So you guys have been together almost 2 years now. That's
yeah,
That's a very good thing. So I ordinarily don't go even farther back this soon, but I think it would be more. I think it would make more sense for the audience, and I also really just want to have this conversation with you guys about the previous bands that you've all been in, because Roy. I don't know, guys. I got to tell you, for those of you who are waiting for your interview to show up, Roy decided he was going to help me do my homework and sent me like a whole dossier on the band. I got like links of, who was in what band. And I was like, wow, all right. I had already done some of that research, but I was like, look at Roy showing up again with the sexy, sexy email. So I want to make sure that we cover that. But before we do that, because I have been trying desperately to get really good at playing the song by the band in the first half hour, because early on it might be like 2 hours in and I'd be like, oh, by the way, we've been talking about their music all this time. Here's a song, and people are sleeping or whatever. So before we get to any other conversation, why don't we tell the folks at home a little bit about Fat Boy, State Highway Queen? We're going to play that for them in a minute. You guys are going to love this. Okay. But just a little quick something if you guys want to throw in about the song, all of that, and then we can let it go.
okay, yep. Fat Boy, it's created by Mutt.
Yeah,
He
it was
came up with the riff.
pretty quick, that one. We
Yeah.
did that in one practice.
Yeah,
we
one
wrote
night.
that one.
Matt just started playing this riff. We started playing along, and Roy started singing the first thing that came into his head, I guess. wasn't it,
Okay.
really?
Yeah, it was. Yep.
And that's basically how it came about.
So you guys just jammed that, and then the song was written
Yeah.
in one rehearsal, and it was done. Holy crap! Because that
More or
song
less.
is
It's basically how we work, really. We just jam it. Mutt comes to rehearsal at the Octopus's Garden, and he starts playing it. Grant starts playing the drums, Les starts playing bass, and away you go. Yep.
We just
Mhm.
jam and hold on to what's
Just
good.
jam.
You know, it's
Yep.
like
Yeah,
Sounds
ditch
good.
what's not.
No, I love it because honestly, one of the things that you know, it worked out that you were on this show was we were, you know, going through all the submissions and everything, and Greg came to me and said, you know, Rehab has this song, I really like it. And I was like, is it Fat Boy? And he was like, yep. I was like, okay. So even the producer of this show, the behind the scenes guy, was like, I really like that song. So he's going to have a special treat sitting over here next to me. So guys,
cool.
buckle up, okay? Because you're about to watch Fat Boy, State Highway Queen by Rehab.
The biggest hits. Non-stop rock.
I mean, you know, indie bands, you don't usually get like high production video like you guys have put out. Now, I don't know if that was a hell of a lot cheaper than it looked, if you guys are just really good at making it look like it was expensive, but I've sat there. First of all, can we all just give a little shout out to the sexy mama there, just gyrating around? So you do not see her face, obviously, but is that a known loved one of someone in the band? Is that some
a friend of my partner? She's her name is Nadine.
Nadine?
She's an incredibly talented woman who is a tattoo artist.
Oh. Did she do the ones that we can see in the video, or I guess it's hard to do?
We can see in the video are actually done by my partner on the day. Just
wow. Okay, that's
real tattoos.
It all goes with the song. Yeah.
Okay.
But
yeah,
sure. She does in real life ride a Harley Davidson. She is a beautiful woman. And
does she have a degree in law, or? I mean, how realistic did we get here? Did we just write the song about Nadine and not realize it? Or okay, yeah, no, that's a great moment when she drives in. I love that.
When Roy came up with the lyrics and we decided we'd make a video, then Nadine was just the obvious choice to have in it.
Just wanted to keep it real, you know, to keep the whole thing real. Worked out really well with Harley Davidson. East Coast Harley Davidson. That was so cool.
Mm-hmm. Well, tell everybody about that a little bit for folks who don't know.
Oh, they East Coast. They just gave. Well, I just rocked into their showroom and said, "Hey, we've got a song." They haven't even heard it, and said we'd like to shoot it here somewhere. And they took me around the back into the workshop and said, "If you want to use this, use it."
It's such a great.
We got onto a local production, 81 Productions, Ricardo and Amanda.
You did a good job.
They were so cool as well. They helped with production and shooting their first rock video. But Ricardo's hard out. He's hard out rock fan and metal. He just loved it. He just adored it. So.
He's the reason it looks so good.
Yeah.
So it's all to do with Ricardo.
So all right, guys, we get to give our shout out to Ricardo Borgia. He's the mastermind behind the thing.
Absolutely.
So okay, so you guys, you know, Mutt comes in with that riff, very distinctive. It's got all the elements of like no, but it is. It's like, you know, the first time I heard it, I'm thinking like, okay, I'm getting some AC/DC, I'm getting some ZZ Top, you know, Long Way to the Top if you want to rock and roll kind of vibe. Like, and again, I always say this literally every single episode, but when I make comparisons, it's always favorable and it's never to imply like, okay, you guys just stole the song, but it's like when I'm listening to stuff and I like it, I'll go, oh, you know, yeah, this reminds me a little bit of this. And it's just another way for me to hook into it. But very catchy. And I'm sorry?
I grew up on that stuff, you know.
Okay, so that makes a lot, and you hear it, but so you've come in with this riff, you know, Grant starts just laying down drums behind it, you know, Laz is, you know, bassing away, and then Roy, how did you land on those lyrics just out of nowhere? Because that song could have been about anything, right? But like, it's very specific.
Yeah,
he was thinking about a shoot.
Everyone's thinking about a shoot. Hey, that's not very nice, bro.
That's a bad thing to say, Grant. It's a bad thing to say. Don't do that. Yeah.
No, well, I started writing it like about a typical, because I am a Harley rider and stuff, and about a typical male Harley rider and how he feels and stuff like that. And I just thought, well, hey, what does this have to be about a guy? Why can't we write it? Because there's so many, you know, female riders out there now, and you know, peace up, man. It's cool. Just turn the tables a little bit and write it about a woman.
Yeah. So, and what I liked about it too was that you didn't, because I have friends who are bikers and they all deal with the same stereotypes, right? They're stupid and they're aggressive and they're mean and they're, you know, they're just road hogs and they're whatever. And I wouldn't be friends with these people if they were not. So one of the things I love about the song is that, you know, everybody just heard it, but like if you're really paying attention to the lyrics, you're describing a woman who's complex. She's multidimensional. She's not this, cut out
Absolutely.
cardboard.
Yeah.
She does have a degree in law, and she is
Yeah.
very self-composed, and she
Yeah.
doesn't need anybody else. She's
She
fully
can lay out
self.
a bloke too if she wants to,
That's it. And
far
I
out,
love
you know?
that, because you weren't objectifying anyone. She still gets
No.
to be sexy as all hell in the video, right? But you
Oh,
weren't
absolutely,
making
yeah.
her a showpiece in that way. And that was one of the things that first caught my ear about you guys.
Absolutely no disrespect to what we were brought up in the 80s and stuff, but all the videos they had like really slim looking models on the videos and stuff like that,
Right,
and
grinding around on the hood of the car.
we just wanted a
real woman.
a real woman.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
a real
Yeah.
woman.
Well,
And
no,
she
because
was,
and
is.
that means everything, right? Because it would have also been very easy for you guys to go and get some 22-year-old, size -3. And again, look, if you're that way, God
It would have
bless you.
been
But
expensive as well.
well, yeah, probably so. No, but like it made the video more interesting for me. That she pulls in and she's clearly a woman of a little bit of an age, not whatever, but she's not a fetus driving in on the thing. She's not like 18 years old or whatever. So I loved that. I also really loved how you guys made very sure to showcase absolutely everybody in the video, because we all know a lot of times, all you'll see on the screen is the person singing, and maybe lead guitar.
Well, we wanted to highlight a young chap who's in a band called Sonorous as well. That's Lucian.
Who
And,
catches the keys, right?
He's the guy on guitar. He was our apprentice, so-called apprentice and he's actually an exceptional guitarist. And they're an amazing band that are doing well down here in New Zealand at the moment. So
okay, that was nice of you guys.
And he actually, on the set, Mutt showed him how to play the chords, and what he's actually playing in the video is exactly what the chords are and stuff. So
it's a good idea.
That's what we wanted as well. It's originality and
So talk to me about the shoot before we get into a little bit more about the song. Like, was that also really quick, or?
Well, it started the night before about 3 o'clock when I absolutely shit-faced.
That was funny, man. He turned up to the set. He sort of slowly got out of his van and just went, oh. And we went, oh, shit.
That's a good start. That's the mentality you want on a long shoot. Yeah, absolutely.
I made a terrible error.
Really loud music playing over and over and over again, and you got to look peppy. That's exactly what you want. That's exactly well done, Laz. Well done. Okay. Okay, so 3 a.m. the night before, and then you pull him out of his crypt, and then how did the rest of it go? Upward from there, I hope.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was awesome.
No, it was a great day. It was easy.
Okay.
Yeah, really smooth.
So this whole, writing it, was quick and smooth. The video was quick and smooth. So, it's, I think that you guys, what I appreciate too is that you're not wedded to one genre, one sound, with what you do at all. And when I'm first listening and I listen and I research everything and I watch all the videos and everything for every episode. And it was like, okay, so I'm hearing, hard rock, I'm hearing blues rock, I'm hearing funk, I'm hearing little psychedelic, I'm hearing some blues. And we should probably say for the longest time, I was not sure I was spelling your name right when I would try to tag you in things on Facebook, because obviously Rehaab, you have an extra A in there.
Yeah.
And little birdie told me that the AAB, right, is the standard 12-bar blues.
Yeah.
Right? Is that like, the old Robert Johnson kind?
I think the hardest thing with starting in band and stuff is actually finding a name.
That nobody else
It's a bit like naming your child, isn't it? You want to find something a little bit original and something a little bit catchy and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, good or bad thing having AAB in it is that misspelling and stuff, but it's original. and we can sign up and it's our name, if you know what I mean. So
Yeah, absolutely. But
yeah,
but it is
has a connection with the blues, which we
Right.
think we're more blues rock, but we do like to experiment, and there is so much stuff that we've never played at a festival because it's not so-called blues, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know, or it's too psychedelic or whatever it is. So
right.
yeah.
So yeah, so I mean, you guys are not, you know, you aren't just specific to genre, because like, you know,
No.
so there's Fat Boy, which is, you know, definitely bluesy rock kind. It's a whole bunch of things, right? And then on Spotify, the other one that's on there is Twisted Fool, right? Okay, now that's a whole different song. It's a whole different feel. It's, I think, funkier. It's smoother. I mean, I was getting Prince and Hendrix and like,
Wow.
you know, yeah, not what I got from Fat Boy at all. Now, again, all stellar guitarists, first of all, which makes sense because I don't know if Twisted Fool was, you know, again, based on a guitar riff like Fat Boy was, but it is just, it's so dancey in a different way. So talk to me about Twisted Fool. How did that one come about? Again, did you walk in, Mutt, with just, you know,
Pretty
uh-oh,
much,
yeah.
Laz is laughing.
Isn't the answer we gave some months
So
ago?
yeah, we could just pause the video here and go back to the answer that we gave for Fat Boy.
Oh, okay. We'll just, and we'll cut it in. So Mutt walked in with a riff.
Another beat, and I jumped in over that, and Roy starts humming something over the top and goes, "Oh, there's a good melody. Fuck, I think we just made another new song."
Voila, there's a song.
And,
Yeah, we pretty much, I had a riff, and then we kind of, there's a section in it that where it goes up into different keys and stuff. I went away and figured that bit out, and then came back to the band and presented that to
I asked
Well,
them.
what actually happened
Yeah.
was we could do with the key change in here, and Mutt
Okay.
went away and came up with 4.
Was it
Yeah.
4 key changes?
So
Yeah.
I found a key change, guys. Well, actually, I found 4 key changes.
Well, I was feeling,
Well,
as a
that's-
singer, I was feeling for Roy, because, you know, the first verse, first chorus is definitely like in a comfortable vocal range. And then all of
Yeah.
a sudden you're you're all the way up here. And I'm like, okay. And then we just keep going.
I
So
wouldn't say all the way up there, but yeah. It is getting harder, as you would know, Christine.
nothing a
Yeah.
couple of nipple clamps won't fix, eh, boy?
No, I know.
Right.
It is actually a song that what we're trying to do sometimes too is we do go back to some of the songs I've written before with other bands,
okay.
but we're always looking to sort of develop them to our own style, I guess, to develop it to our own, to who we are.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the bands I played before were probably poppy blues. We're not poppy blues. We're more, you know, blues rock. So you've got to sort of, Twisted Fools. You've got to kind of try and bring it together, especially with the lead guitarist, because he's got his own tone, he's got his own feel. So you've got to develop the whole thing around Mutt. So
it changes, the groove. And
So I love that
drummer and stuff.
that Roy is the, you know, ostensible frontman. Most people think that the singer is, and I always disagree with that, frankly. I don't think there has to be, but that is sort of the way it comes down. But what was that? Oh, they're not going to
don't know him.
maybe I'm being sensible.
Sensible. He is sensible, maybe.
But I'm
Not like
hearing that Mutt is sort of the linchpin of a lot of what goes on here.
Oh yeah.
What's the,
possibly the riff, the initial riff.
the creative
No.
driving force, and I just leech on to whatever
But
he's doing and bass it up a bit. And
It takes everybody, you know.
Yeah.
then Grant just keeps the beat solid and brings
Yeah,
that
it's all
aspect
about
to
the
it,
beat
so
too, you know, and the groove.
It's just a real collective thing, you know. Everyone
Yeah.
sort of brings their bit, but yeah, Mutt is a lot of the creative driving force, and
Yeah.
then from there it sort of branches out, and
Yeah.
someone will have an idea, and then it'll go from there.
Absolutely.
And something else.
No,
and
I mean, you can't be as tight as you guys are as a band and not all be really good at what you do. But it sounds like, shut up, Roy. It sounds like you look, you're going to say something naughty there, but you know, it sounds like it'll be like, okay, Mutt came in with this riff, you know, Laz is going to put, you know, the bass down behind it, you know, Grant's going to throw on some drums, and then Roy just has to magically come up with lyrics. But I mean, so it seems like your songwriting process is pretty off the cuff, right? But so, I mean, are you really coming up with all of the lyrics that end up on the final version of the song just top of your head during a jam? Do you start with the bones of it and then you guys go back and rework it? It's not done right away, right? All of it?
Well, not lyrically. Like
Yeah.
you might have a melody nutted out. Sometimes the vocal melody will be there. It's like, that's the melody. We just need to go back and write the words for it. Other times it'll be like maybe this sort of melody, and you might bounce off that a couple of different times and change it a few times. But yeah, just the bones of it are, but like it's not like we go to practice and then we jam and then at the end of it we fucking record Twisted Full and it's like, it's done. It's like, no, there's a little bit more goes into it. The bones of it are
it's a lot more structural and stuff. I mean, most of the lyrics are really worked out over fishing.
Fishing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do fishing, and when the fish aren't biting, that's when I start thinking about, how can I change the lyrics and stuff, and then it goes like that. Used to be in a tractor. I used to be a greenkeeper, so I used to do it in the tractor to the beat of the tractor. So yeah,
That's cool.
but I didn't have someone like this guy here.
So sort of a nature, fishing, agriculture-based lyricism. Okay, I can honestly say I did not had that.
Leonard Skinner did it. He did a lot fishing and stuff. Yep.
Welcome to New Zealand. This is how we do things.
Yep.
Well, hey, it's a hell of a lot better than sitting in traffic in midday.
Don't forget the sheep.
Right, the sheep. The sheep are the inspiration for a lot of things. But okay, so let's back up again as we said that we would, and talk a bit about where you guys came from in your previous bands, because you do have some interesting stories. And I mean, one of the videos that I found on your YouTube was a Loose Moorings song, right? Pushing My Patience. That's
yeah.
Okay, so we'll go down that all a little bit here. So Roy, I know you were in Hindsight for a while, which was just what, a duo, an acoustic duo?
That's how I started. Yeah, it was a duo with a guy called Charlie.
Okay.
Yeah, we did mostly our own versions of covers and stuff like that. But then I got really bored with covers. And just decided, I'd like to write my own stuff.
Okay.
Yep.
And so that was that got you into it, but then I guess, did you move straight to Koru or Koru? I'm not sure how you say that after that.
Yeah, Koru. Yeah,
Koru,
it was a metal band, and excellent band in Reading, the UK. And we did an album there. Just awesome. I think I was just going through that angry phase of life, after divorce.
There's a lot of anger in the stuff that I heard.
It was a challenge. The thing with metal bands is I couldn't believe how regimented it was.
Huh. Talk to me about that.
I mean, there was kind of like when you're on stage and stuff and you're doing all the performing, because it is a performance with a metal band. It really is a front performance.
Yeah.
And I just found there was no room for mistake. Everything was just so regimented, and that if from a vocalist point of view, if I missed a certain point of the song, the guys still carried on. Not like a blues rock band
where you improv
they'll come around again and we're into it again,
Yeah,
but
they just leave you at the station. That's it.
But it was a real challenge. It was a challenge, and it made me grow up as a singer. That's for sure, especially vocally as well, and performance-wise. It's something. Band,
that's a very big leap from an acoustic duo, doing covers to an original metal band. Like,
I was angry.
If you wanted to find the most different things to do in a row, I think like that probably qualifies. So, okay, so you got tired of that, and then Loose Moorings came along, and again, that was more.
No, it was a band. Yeah, you're right. Actually, Loose Moorings, and that was sort of just like a jam band in between Koru. And then, but that took off. The jam band Loose Moorings took off, and we were invited to go to Germany and headline over there. We played some really cool places in London, like the 100 Club, which was just it wasn't actually the playing, it was just standing up against the wall and just seeing all these faces on the wall, the Stones, all the, Sex Pistols who'd played at that venue, and you just think, what are we doing here? It's like crazy.
There's been a mistake. And why are we here? So, but I mean, that band definitely, I would say, again, more blues rock, right? So
yeah.
Because I mean, on Pushing My Patience. Now, first of all, I wanted to mention the video for that is really intense. For anybody who hasn't been on their, YouTube or whatever, it's a song about, domestic violence and the scourge that is. And
Is that the Loose Moorings one?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you should see it.
I should see it.
Yeah.
okay.
Sorry,
So
we're just having
Laz,
a
I'm
conversation.
apparently
Yeah.
also talking to you.
As you were.
There you go, Laz. You might want to watch what your buddy did, but no, it's really and there's even a like a warning at the beginning, right? Like, this may be hard to watch. Okay, so but it is, but the song, I thought, with the subject matter was an interesting juxtaposition, because I got kind of like almost like a Doors vibe from that song.
Yeah, we play that as well, but we find that's a little bit too intense for blues nights and stuff.
It
Even
is a
though we
little bit
might-
of a mood
We
changer.
might be
Yeah.
pushed to play it this time. So yeah.
Yeah. No,
So,
but I mean, it's so
I think we should.
I mean, the one of the things that I loved, again, I appreciated as a singer, was the way that you used your dynamics in that song. So you're not yelling in the song, you're not screaming in the song, but when you're singing it and it gets to the really threatening point of, you're pushing my patience, your voice changes big time, and it really grabs the person listening. And first of all, thank you for putting attention on such an important issue with that song in the video.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, that, guys, again, I know it's not a Rehab song, but the DNA of every band you've ever been in comes into the band that you're in at the moment. So even though Loose Moorings is not Rehab,
It's quite I think why there's so much passion in it, it's quite a personal song. And I think not directly from myself, because there was some domestic violence in my family. But it comes from living with somebody who's gone through it, a woman who went through some really bad times. And I think from a writer's point of view, you get inspired by strong people.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And when I sing that song, it goes in here and it goes in there and it comes out again. So it's
No,
quite
you
a
can feel
passionate
it.
song.
Yeah. No, and it's all of that is all of that is there. All of that is there. I mean, and it's interesting to me how, even while sounding very strong, you manage to make it clear how weak abusers actually are, and that the people that are being abused are actually the strong ones in the situation. And
it was really written about a friend of mine who played bass as well, and it was his mother. But it's coming from his point of view of looking in and not being able to help.
Right.
And that's where the mother says it's okay. She's always, and the love that mothers or fathers, whichever the way around it is, have for their children is it's a passionate thing. And it is a subject that should be, and I think we need to get it out now, because I've been a little bit too touchy about sort of when we should play it, but whenever we play it, these guys, massive. Yeah.
There you go. So Laz, now you have to go watch the video. We'll wait. We'll sit and wait while you do that now. If you want to go do that now.
I have my phone down here. It's not bad.
Yeah, like Laz is on his phone, just holding it up during the interview. But yeah. So okay. So I mean, that, I'm sure you've been in and out of other, bands besides those, but those sound like they were the main ones before you landed in Rehab. So okay. So just to sort of shift a little bit.
Hybrid blues as well. There was hybrid blues as well, but yeah.
Right. Well, we could talk a little bit about that because
No,
since
no,
there
it's
were,
okay.
Grant can talk about that because that's the one he was in.
Yeah.
I was going to say, okay, I was
Good
going to say
idea.
that since it was two of you.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. So, well, then, all right, then I'll go to you next, Grant. So, I mean, you had Emily's Garden, right?
Very,
Okay.
very long time ago.
Very long time ago. And then it was Hybrid Blues, and that's where you and Roy had connected, right? Okay, so talk to me a little bit about that band. I know you said there was, and you don't have to share what it was. I know you said unfortunately there was some tragic thing that broke the band up. But how long were you in that? Were you in it before Roy was in it? Were you guys?
No. Hybrid Blues had recorded an album, and circumstances came around where they had a gig to launch the album, and
Okay.
their drummer was unable to play the gig. So I got a call about 2 weeks before the gig. Can you stand in and learn these, whatever it is, 12, 15 songs or something, and do this gig for Hybrid Blues? So I did, and one thing led to another, and I got asked to join the band full time. So I did.
One thing led to another.
And it was great. And that's when that was when I met Roy. It was about 2 weeks before the album launch gig. We had
no pressure.
couple of practices in the French studio. In fact, the producer's Tim Julian's studio, who produced the album. And so I had 2 weeks to learn the album and play the gig. So that's what
So
I done.
you
And then
came in,
Hybrid Blues ended, and Roy and I decided, we got to keep going. We've got a lot of stuff we want to get out there. Roy writes a lot of songs, a lot of great songs.
Yeah.
And then, as we described earlier, Mutt just happened to be available at that time, so we carried on with Rehab. Yeah.
Like Roy just subtly slithers away
It's a beautiful day, man. It's a beautiful day.
and then slithers right back.
You want to join us down the beach later on?
Oh yeah, I'll start walking now. Give me a couple years, I'll be there. Just swim on my way. No, it is not a beautiful day here. It's about 1,000 degrees in New York, but it sounds prettier there. Okay, so I mean, you guys clearly clicked right away. That's interesting that you came in as a sub. And I mean, they must have known that they had a good drummer if you were able to pick up everything.
Well, the bass, I had been sort of doing some stuff with the bass player in Hybrid Blues, and it was his idea to
bring you in. Oh, okay. It's always who you know, right? So, but I mean, that's a lot of pressure to be not just for a gig, but an album launch gig. Like, you were not on the album; those were not your songs. You had to come in and represent the band the way they wanted, and you had to learn that pretty quickly. I mean, that's like a song a day.
What made it easier was I really liked the songs. I really liked
that. Helps a lot.
It was a really good album to listen to. I really enjoyed playing the songs, so that made it a lot easier.
Okay.
And obviously, Roy's a great singer, so why wouldn't you want to do that?
Yeah, no, I agree. Roy's just muttering over there. Okay, so Laz, you were in Miscreant, right?
Yeah,
now,
not the Russian hardcore metal Miscreant.
Okay.
Quite often confused.
Right. Yours was a rock band, yeah?
Yeah. Struggling with identity issues, I think the review said.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah. No, because we'd do like little funky numbers and then like real hardcore and then real ballady ones. And it was really very hard to put into a box musically. There was all sorts going on in it, and it was a hell of a lot of fun and
but
great
you know
guys.
what though, that's a shitty way to frame it if you think about it.
Man,
because I mean,
what is that?
There's somebody could
we don't know who we are, but we play fucking good music.
Well, but that's kind of where I was going to go with that. Is first of all, I don't know that anybody could really label Rehab truly, because it's not like you are just doing blues rock. You're not. But I mean, I mean, one of the bands that I interviewed early on with this show was the Dion Powder Band, which I don't know if you guys know them at all or whatever. They're in Australia, but their music, it's similar, where one song is completely different from the next genre-wise, and you cannot tie them down. And it's one of the things I love most about the band. And it's one
Don't
of
you
the
think
things that I,
don't you think that's a problem with what the people when they label you as a
Yes.
certain? Why do they have to
Exact-
label
I
you as
don't-
a
I
blues rock
don't
band?
know.
or
I
a
don't,
blues
because
band?
Easier to
And
write.
there's always that sort of confrontation. Oh no, they don't play blues
That's
because they're
right.
not a blues band. They're blues rock. Oh my God,
like, calm down. Like, no, I really,
Yeah.
I mean, and it's funny because no matter what the genre or genres of the bands that, or the musicians that I interview here, it is the same thing, and it is the same problem. So like in the metal community, there are all these sub-genres and sub-genres of metal, right? You know, there are a million different breeds of it. And I hear a lot of talk about gatekeepers saying, well, if you play black metal, you can't do this. And if you play, you know, thrash metal, you can't do that. And if you do deathcore, you can't do this. And they have the same reaction that I do, which is, who the fuck cares? Like, if the music is good, make the music, right? So then, you know, something like Miscreant, not the other one, the last one, you know, so a reviewer's going to come in and go, wow, okay, so I got to sit here for a couple hours at a bar or whatever and watch this band play, and they went from funk to blues to rock to this to that. And my takeaway from that is going to be, they have identity issues. Fuck you. Like, that's such a stupid, small-minded, narrow, unnecessarily restrictive way to look at it. Like,
Yeah.
it's
It's
so
just one of those
stupid to
reviews.
me.
You know, sometimes you get a bad review and you like pin it up because it's like you wear it like a badge, and it's
That's
like,
right.
And so I've sort of
That's
hooked
right.
onto that one because it really stuck with me, identity issues, and it's like,
Yeah,
it is a rough way to say it, but it was like, it's like a compliment to us, you know. It's like we can't be.
it should be. It should be,
Yeah,
because
I
it's a bad take on a good thing. And so I'm glad that you decided to see it as a good thing, because I do too. I mean, I know that there are bands that stick with one genre, but even within that, they'll play with the genre so that you're not hearing 6, 8, 12, 14 identical songs. Who wants to listen to that album? I mean, that's not enjoyable for anyone.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Can you imagine a cover band sticking to one genre?
right, or I mean, yeah, I mean, because it's like it's tricky enough if you're a
Boring.
tribute band, right?
Yeah.
And you can only play one band.
Yeah.
But if you're,
Yeah.
I mean, it's, and I've been in those cover bands, honestly, Roy. I've been in those cover bands where like all the other guys wanted to do was play classic rock. No, man, Zeppelin and you know, this is all we're gonna do and whatever. And I'm sorry, but first of all, there are a lot of bands that are doing that, a
Yeah.
lot. So
Yeah, we're
even-
we're shooting a video tomorrow night, a casual video,
oh,
and we're taking the lighter side of Rehab. So we're looking forward to that because it's another creation from the master here. So
okay. Have we heard this song? We have not, right?
no, it's brand new. We haven't recorded it. We're just going to play it live in front of a fireplace and just chill out. So
Oh, that's very cool. Okay,
and
so
it's going to be videoed and stuff.
how would you describe that song if you can?
It's kind of like
It's struggling with identity issues.
yeah.
I like it already. I like it already.
No, it's kind of a slow. It's got a little bit of a funky vibe to it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a little bit old school, nice song. Yeah, cool.
Slapping the bass.
It's a
About
kind of
a
a ballady song.
yeah, about a guy basically is looking for his ex, and then he realizes, oh, what the hell, carry on with life, sort of thing. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So, but it's more funky than bluesy, because I mean that's about, if you want to define like lyrics for blues, that's kind of like every blues song ever, except for the part where he says to forget about it. Usually it's just like, "There's my baby, where's my baby? My baby left me, my baby's gone."
No, it's not like that. It's definitely not a blues progression.
Saturday night, nothing to do,
Does it?
so walk the streets in search of you.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't
Oh,
work
so
without
it's a
the bass.
little.
No, it doesn't work
Probably
without the
not,
bass.
huh?
No.
Is it a little jazzy?
Ukulele, no,
That
it's
sounds a little-
It's relaxed and it's chilled. Yep.
That sounds a little jazzy to me. What you just did.
It could be.
Okay. Struggling with identity issues. We're not going to label it. We're not going to pin it into anything. So, okay,
It's
so
like
that's
like with a bit of smooth
Yeah,
rock
Pretty
It
chill.
could be construed as blues.
blues. Yeah.
could be. Yep.
I like that I've
That's
asked
incredible.
each of you and you've come up with a different genre, but it's somehow all of those things. And I kind of feel like that's fitting for Rehab. Like I kind of feel like that fits because so I mean, we have acoustic duo doing covers into original metal into, blues rock combined with a identity issue band that did funk and rock and all kinds of things. And I mean, hybrid blues, obviously some blues in there, but is the hybrid about it wasn't just blues?
No, it's the same thing. It is what it is. So, yeah.
Okay.
It's about the band, isn't it? About what we create. We don't want to stick to a certain genre. That would be boring, to be quite honest.
No.
But we are, loosely based on blues at the moment.
All right. Okay. All right. So Mutt, not to leave you out. So you started, well, I mean, I don't know if you've been doing this since you were about, I know you said you started at 18 and not too long after that you got into bands, but was Electric Universe your first band? No. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, there's a few people in there that were who I first started out with playing my first
Where do
band.
you think you're going?
That was Black Rose. We were basically sort of
You saw a sheep.
we played a lot
Leave
of
him alone.
like rock and metal covers.
Okay. Okay.
That's where we first started, and then and some 70s stuff. And then I
Rock
did
and
that
metal
for
and some
about
70s stuff. Okay, I like that.
probably 4 or 5 years, and then I went off into an original band, and we started as a 3-piece band, and we wrote our own songs, and that lasted for a couple of years. And then I went into another. I've been pretty much in a lot of original bands.
Okay.
It's been sort of what I love doing, just creating stuff.
Yeah.
And then I was in that for about 4 years, and then I decided to go into cover bands for a while, and we were playing sort of like 80s and 90s music.
So you wanted to make a little money for a little while. Okay. Yeah.
And then I got back into writing originals again with I'm trying to remember who the first band was. It was basically Electric Universe, because I had a break for a while.
Okay.
I sort of got over playing music, touring around and stuff, and then I got a job, a good job and all that, and then I went to Polytech actually, and then I come out of there and I decided I wanted to get back into music again. So I got back with a few of the old people that I played with in the beginning, in the early days, and then we started writing again, and that was Electric Universe.
Okay.
Yeah, and then that sort of fell apart, and then I went off into. I actually played in a reggae band for a little bit, which was
okay. Hold on, we're gonna need to pause on that for a second.
Yeah, because I wanted to try something different.
Okay.
A guy saw me jamming, and because I know these guys over in Rotorua, saw me jamming, and he asked me to play in his band, and it was a big band, it was like about eight people on it, I think.
Okay.
And that was cool because it was different, and I had to learn different stuff.
Okay.
Different rhythms. It was quite, so I sort of had to absorb myself in that sort of world. And then
What did you have to do to do that, man?
Yeah. And then Phil Rudd rang me up, and then he wanted me to go on tour with him over in Europe. So
let me pause you there. Okay, so because you slipped that in really casually. Oh, Phil Rudd, rang me up, but okay, I'm assuming everybody watching knows we're talking about one of the main drummers for AC/DC. So you were in Repo Man, or this was
No, I wasn't on the album. That was between him. He had a couple of friends that he'd been mucking around with for quite a while.
Okay.
And because I met Phil probably in the late 80s, early 90s.
Okay.
In various bands, we used to go up to his studio and play and record. Done some recordings up there, and that's how that's how he got to know me.
Okay.
And then must have been like about what was it 2017? It's like 20 years later. He rings me up out of the blue and says, "Oh, do you want to come and play with go on tour over?" Because he just released the album not so long before that.
Yeah.
So I said, "Yeah, sure."
Oh, okay.
I wasn't going to say no to that one.
Oh,
Actually,
I
I'm
don't
busy
know.
with work.
Yeah, it blew me away that he actually
I'm not
rang me up.
sure. I might have a cover gig that week. I don't know. I might have.
Yeah, no, I was
Get my
busy
hair
working away, and so I went on tour with him for a couple of months over in Europe, and that was an experience. It was amazing.
I love Mutt. You are so fucking low key. You're just sort of like, yeah, you know. And then I went on tour in Europe for a couple of months with AC/DC's drummer, and then I ate a sandwich, and then I went to bed. Like you're very, but like this is a big thing. So I mean, talk to me a little bit about this tour, because that, especially Phil Rudd, who has a very storied biography of his own, to say the least.
Oh yeah,
You know, like,
Yeah.
and you guys are still friends from what I gather.
yeah. I see him now and again. Yeah, for sure.
So
Go
the
around there.
tour, I mean, did that make you love it more? Did that get you just really
definitely,
tired of
it's
it?
another side to it, you know.
Mm.
We basically went to Vienna, and that was our base, and then we went from there to Scandinavia, and then toured through France and Germany and the Czech, and did quite a lot of countries, 15 different countries, and then we played on a boat, which was the highlight for me, was playing on a cruise ship,
What a boat, mother-
like a middle cruise.
I'm glad you did that, Laz, because like now every time somebody says I'm on a boat, that I immediately go to that same exact. I see T-Pain
I
on
love
the yeah.
Yeah.
It was great. It was like free drinks and seeing all the bands and stuff. And
Yeah.
yeah, I saw
Non-disclosure
Saxon
agreement.
live. I met the guys at the Saxon, and
That's why he's not saying too much. He legally can't. He's restricted from telling us too much about the tour. So why was that the highlight? Was it just sort of the whole experience, the
it's just
setting?
different, you know.
Yeah.
A lot of the time we're on the Mediterranean, and it was beautiful weather. It was absolutely calm, and yeah, it was amazing.
Hmm.
Yeah, I loved it.
Okay.
There were other great things too, but that sort of stood out because it was quite different.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So then
Lot
you
of
got
fun.
off the boat and you finished
we
the
went
tour
we went to
and you came
Malaga,
home.
a
Okay.
little island, and then we went to I can't really remember exactly, but I think we went to Glasgow.
It was a good time.
I want the exact itinerary, Mutt. I want dates and times. I want to know what port you were at. I feel like this is what I brought you here for. What the hell, you know? It's 6 years ago. You should have this at your fingertips, you know. Yeah,
She
okay.
does as well. Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, so then at that point, I mean, so by the time you finished that, it wasn't too long before Rehab got together.
Yeah,
What did
no,
you
I
do
came
in the
back and
middle?
I put back together Electric Universe again, and we played for probably
Okay.
3 or 4 years. Put out a couple of albums,
Yeah, they did really well.
some
really well.
videos.
Yep.
Went on, a couple of tours, and then, but then I just sort of had enough of that, and I wanted to do something different. And so, but Roy got hold of me. I kind of liked what Roy was doing, and I liked his music and his lyrics and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'd met him before, and then he texts me and says, do you want to get together and form a band? And I went, so I just said, yeah, okay, let's do it. And that was like, the following day that I'd left. So it was a bit of a coincidence.
And I was on the other side of the phone going,
Well, I mean, because it sounds to me like, and I don't know that you would characterize it this way, but you guys end up being kind of a little super group, the four of you, because
oh, gosh, I wouldn't say that around. I wouldn't say that around here. You'll get us
I
in
said
trouble.
I said it. Oh, how am I going to get
no
you
one
in?
likes a super group.
You're very kind. A little delusional, but very kind.
You're not the first person to tell me that, Laz, but thank you. I appreciate it every time. So, but I mean it in that way, that everything that you guys bring from your previous projects, I mean, first of all, musically, whether it's, commercially successful or not, which clearly you've all dabbled in a bit of that, too. But I mean, if the music is really good and the band is popular wherever they are, that's a success to me. You know, if you're making good music and people really like it, then that's a success. So, I mean, but you have the four of you coming to this band and forming Rehab, and you are coming from completely different worlds. And not even just each of you, but all of the musical worlds that you were in before you all got together were different from each other. So it's like you're bringing so much musical background and education and flavor and identity crises and whatever you want to call them to what you're doing now. And this, I mean, you know, because I when Roy gave me the little, you know, mini dossier on who had been, you know, where and before and all that, and then going through the YouTube and seeing Pushing My Patience and getting a feel for what Loose Moorings, you know, was doing, and then Time Stands Still for No One, you know, well, I mean, we have a bunch of other ones we're going to get to, but I mean, like, it fits to me with the way that I received the music, you know, from Rehab, that it's the best version of not being able to just put you guys in a little box and say, this is what you do. Because, I mean, yeah, you know, Fat Boy has blues rock to it, but there's also hard rock to it. There is also a very dancey groove to it. And I mean, you guys were talking earlier about it being about the groove. And I say it a lot on this show and just in life that unsung heroes, the bass and the drums, you know, that's what gets people up. That's what gets people dancing.
Totally.
It's got to
And
be
I
about
mean,
the
and you
Totally.
guys you're so in the pocket with each other. You really are. And there's that, it doesn't let you down for a second, you know? So, I mean, if people want to get up and dance with Nadine to the video, they can do it. And that's because of what you guys are doing. But then you've got that super fucking catchy guitar riff in there. And that, you know, people aren't going to necessarily remember what the percussion section, the rhythm section is doing, but they need it to dance. But they're going to remember that ding in it. They're going to remember that riff. That's going to be in their head. And then I cannot tell you how many bands locally over the years I have been, you know, friendly with or just seen perform out or whatever, where you know, you're sitting there on the bar or the wherever you are, and like the band comes out and they start and they're playing and the instrumentation is so good and you're just like, yeah, man, I'm dancing, whatever. And then the lead singer comes out on stage and it's like somebody sawing an elephant in half, and it's horrible and it ruins the whole.
Have you seen that? Have you seen that before?
Not the sawing the elephant part, but I have seen the bands that get let down by the singing. And I think you can forgive a lot of musical sins to a point if the singing is really good, you know, but people will walk away going, man, you know, that singer's really good. Why are they in that band? But if you have a band that's really, really good and the singer is terrible, you're just going to be like, oh shit, you know, like,
you're unable to hear anything other than bad singing.
Exactly.
I'll
Exactly.
tell you a
It's
singer
exactly
I
that.
really enjoyed seeing for the first time live, and that was Chester from Linkin Park.
Okay.
What a voice.
Oh,
my
yeah.
God. And the
Very
guy from
distinctive.
Disturbed, and
Yeah.
my God. It's like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
But
good
I mean,
vocalist will cover average musicians much better than great musicians will cover an average vocalist.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's true. Well, and I mean to make sure that I'm making the exact point that I want to, is that Roy, you don't do that. You don't come up and saw an elephant in half. You sound really good. You have a strong voice. It's very sexy. It's got that
We have an
vibe.
amazing producer.
Yeah.
Well, there's only so much producers can do, but you're not deflecting. I'm going to hold you to this one. So, I mean, my very long-winded overarching point is that all of you are doing exactly what you need to be doing so well. And I think it's part of why when you're writing your stuff, it does come together so seamlessly, because it's like when you're in a band or even not in a band, you know, I've been in house bands where we haven't met each other until 20 minutes before the show. We have never played together. And if everybody knows what they're doing, it really doesn't matter. You don't need to have.
I think that's the main thing with being a vocalist. If you have it's like any team sport. If you have confidence in your team, you can go out there and give it 100%. You know, it's having that confidence, and that's why with good teams, sports and everything is practice, practice, practice.
Right.
So that when you go out there, it's just like second nature. And
I don't even think that's specific to vocalists. I mean, I think everybody in the band feels that way. You know, that if Mutt wants to go out and just throw in a solo that isn't supposed to be there, I'm not guessing that he's sitting there going, oh, you know, will Laz and Grant, you know that they need to keep the groove going? You know, is Roy going to start singing over me? No, he knows that you guys have him. And I'm sure each of you have that experience. That's that's the orgasmic version of being in a band, right? When you know that you can just do what you need to do, you can play around, you can have a good time, you can throw in something different, and then your band has you. They have you. And you guys play like you've been together for decades. You really do. I mean, it is to be not even 2 years old as a band and to have that much synchronicity among everybody in the band, and to have a sound that isn't definable, but it's distinctive enough that, like, because I have so many songs from the indie community now on different playlists, and I will just have them on and I'm not looking, and I will hear a song and go, okay, that's Rehaab. And I might not necessarily have known the song to begin with, but I know Roy's voice. I know the sound. I have a sense of that groove versus like, okay, no, this is Michael Body and this, you know, like I can, when bands have a signature like that or a thumbprint like that, I feel like that's everything, because then no matter what you do, it's going to sound new, but it's going to sound like Rehaab. And I think that's
what we hope for anyway.
Yeah,
that's how it lands with me. I mean, I you know, and I really, I mean, you guys, you also have a good sense of humor to the music. I mean, obviously you're funny here, but like there's a wink in Fat Boy, you know, there's a wink in that song, you know, it isn't taking its Fat Boy. It isn't taking itself seriously. And even in the video, you guys are rock starring it up. You all look very schmancy, whatever. But like, it isn't this deadly serious. Like if that video had been made in the 80s, it would have been a very different feel, right? It would have been like, yeah, of course, this is exactly what's happening. And we're all taking this super seriously because we're working on a motorcycle. And then this hot chick comes in and starts writhing around, you know, like, but you guys manage to take it seriously, but not take yourselves too seriously. I just like the whole thing.
I think in New Zealand you have to kind of try and do that, because there is a term that no one likes to show off down here, and I think it is pretty hard in the industry down here to not be a show off without trying to push yourself out to the market. Does that make sense?
It does. Well, you have to be ambitious, but not arrogant.
Yeah,
pretty much.
And
the New Zealand market's about this big.
Well, I wanted to ask you guys about that, because I mean, it's you know, what is it like being a band in New Zealand? Is there a ton? Is everybody like in one spot where there's just a clog of, you know, bands, and then, you know, everything else is just cheap? Or like what, you know, what about New Zealand specifically with, and Roy's leaving, I reminded him about the sheep. That's okay.
It's like 99% of the superstars still have day jobs, is what it's like in New Zealand.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's
the
1%
is pretty, you know, they can live off it, but they have to go overseas. You can't really, the population's too small.
It's pretty much, you sell everyone a record, you still, you know,
You still need a day job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's yeah. I mean, I know that there's this thing of like, you know, America tends to think if you're not, he's back. We're giving things out. Oh,
breakfast.
Yeah. Kia Sorrento or whatever you guys are always saying to me. I don't know. What is that? Is that so, Roy? When you're always, is that Maori the the things that you say? Like you can't. You say,
Tanifara means monster.
okay,
or,
but you say
Monster.
Kia Ora or something to me a lot, don't you? When we're
Sorry?
back and forth, you say
Kia ora.
Kia something. Kia
Kia ora.
Ora. Yeah, okay, that's what I
Kia
thought.
ora, which means hello.
And goodbye.
Arawa,
Yeah.
which means love.
Aw.
And
Whānau.
whānau, family.
Yeah.
And that's
So-
pretty much it in New Zealand. It's
You're like,
all
that's
about
it.
love
Those are
for
all the
your
words we
whānau.
know. That's it.
And river monsters, yeah.
And river monsters. Okay. All right. So I mean, but okay, so because I mean, I before I started looking into it for this interview, I didn't really know much about New Zealand's music, its history, and I was really surprised to find out because I first when I heard about you guys and I'm like, wow, okay, like a blues rock band from New Zealand. That's not unusual. You guys, the history of the music down there seems
Some
to have
great bands
been
here.
a lot of blues rock influence.
But you have to go out to become big. Split Ends did that. Crowded House did that.
Yeah.
Split Ends tried in England, but then went to Crowded House. Crowded House went to America.
Yeah.
The Exponents.
Yep.
The Datsuns.
LAB, they're branching out. They're going to America now.
Neil Finn. Do you know who Neil Finn is?
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah. He's from the Crowded House and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, very proud of
didn't
him.
he
He's a
end up-
great songwriter.
Didn't he end up joining up with Fleetwood Mac when Lindsay left?
He did, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Last
Yeah.
tour.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's also a really good thing about New Zealand being so small. The first time I ever saw Neil Finn was just in a local bar
Man.
several years ago, and the guy's a superstar, but he just got up and jammed with the band.
Yep.
So-
You can't see that thing doesn't happen all over the world, but it
No.
does happen in New Zealand.
No. So okay, so even then when people do make it big, they still have that hometown mentality
Yeah,
then.
There's a certain
Yeah.
humility about Kiwis that I really like.
Because if you don't have it, we'll chop you down. Pretty
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
You soon get told.
Pretty much. Yeah.
No, but and it's part of why I was so interested in because I kind of felt like I couldn't really understand where you guys were coming from musically without looking at, because New Zealand seems like a very specific place, that there's the mentality is very friendly. I mean, that's something that I hear all the time is just, people from New Zealand, salt of the earth, they will give you the shirt off their back. And, just everybody's very,
And they often do it.
yeah. Wow. That was
Literally.
impressive. They're all together now. Yeah. But so, I mean, so that's interesting to me that even, because I mean, I would venture to say Neil Finn is probably the most famous, world famous musician
Yeah, I
from
would agree with
New
that.
Zealand.
I just think it's just what's born into our, it's born into us.
There's not
Yeah,
many people.
I think that's probably true everywhere though, because I mean, I talk to musicians now from all over the world, and there's a similar feel that you do have to find and cultivate simultaneously a community, and the only people who are really, really supporting the indie musicians are the indie musicians. Like, that has been the biggest lesson for me in falling down this musical rabbit hole the last couple months, that, toiling in cover bands for years. And as I've said before, it's such a competitive environment because you're playing other people's music, and there's only so much of other people's music that a random bar crowd is going to want to listen to, right? Nobody wants to go into a bar and listen to like track 14 from the third John Mayer album. No, they want Your Body is a Wonderland, right? Like, they want the one they know. Tell me the one I know, and so because everybody's kind of, dipping into the same pool of the same songs, it's who can cover these people's songs best. And it becomes very cutthroat. And so wandering into the indie music community, where you would think the competition would be fiercer because there are so many amazing unsigned musicians out there. It is staggering. I mean, you guys included, like, I mean, the people I interview on this show, the people I'm going to interview on this show, just the music coming out. And I'm like, oh my God, why is this not on the radio? Why is Fat Boy not on the radio in the States all the time here? I don't know. Like, there's nothing that that differentiates it or is less than compared to what I do here driving around in my car on the radio, right? So it's all just kind of luck. And as we said, who you know. But this community, I think, because everybody knows it's hard enough to make it. And the people who are in that same fight understand it so well. And so you will get indie musicians who are like, hey, you know what? I listened to Twisted Fool. I really love it. I love that super elaborate guitar solo you have in there. I love the way the vocals go up, you know, the key changes, all of that, you know. And so here I'm putting it on this playlist, or I'm going to share it to this, you know, site or whatever. And like, boom, then all of a sudden, a whole bunch of people who would never have otherwise known you know you. And you guys like to give back and do the same thing. So I think that's how we build, right? Because just because people don't like what we're doing, if we're not hurting anybody else with it, we're not doing anything wrong. You're just trying to get heard.
But it's exactly like the Leonard Skinner documentary I watched the other night. They played for 7 years before they were noticed. 7 years.
And people think they're an overnight success.
Yeah, we've only got another 6 to go. 6? At least.
No, five.
Yeah. And they were playing the songs that they were famous for, and then all of a sudden they get signed and noticed, and everyone's going back to what they played before, and oh yeah, there it is.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Well, it's like when you're yourself in a bad relationship and the person just doesn't like you, and then you break up and you meet somebody else and they're like, wow, you're the greatest person ever. And you're like, it's the same me. You know, it's like, it really just kind of comes down to like, you know, and I think honestly, unfortunately in the music industry, a lot of what people are told they should like, you know, and that's popularity. Yeah. So, it doesn't sound like it's specific to New Zealand, but what does sound from what you guys said, because you've said a lot of really nice things about New Zealand, is that the love there and the attitude there, you know, and just the mindset there seems to be so positive, you know, and nobody's trying to be a jerk. Nobody's trying to overshadow anybody else. Okay. One of the things I wanted to talk to you about just musically, because I was not expecting this going through your YouTube, and I dug it very hard. You have a mashup on there from a gig that you did of War by Edwin Starr.
Oh, yeah.
And Marvin Gaye's What's Going On. How did you put those two together? Because I would never have thought to do that, but they work so well when you put, and guys, if you have not seen it, after the show, go watch, because it's very cool. It's very cool. So how did that come up? Because I know you guys do some covers, but not.
I had a riff, and then I played it at practice one night, and then
we'll go back to the answer we gave.
And then I had put the words to it, and I thought, yeah, man, that gels. Let's work on that.
No, I always had this idea with the two songs being brought together because they got the same message, and I love the artists obviously who sang them originally. I know a lot of people, we've already had this angry face thing from somebody in the Facebook, because obviously it's not like the original, but you know, we try to sort of, it's the same message basically, even though it's a different riff. And this is what we're trying to get out to people about war and stuff. You know, peace and love, man. Yeah.
No, but
Peace and love. Punch him in the face.
But it's very clever though, because I mean, war is such a.
It's a powerful word.
But I mean, but the song "War" is such a sort of, you know, stop and start, staccato, shouty, kind of super funky until you get to the, you know, all of that. And what's going on is so smooth, and it's so laid back, and I mean, one of the things I've always loved about that song is that, you know, it's almost musically kind of a lullaby in a way. It's very soothing, but when you listen to what he's actually saying, it's like, oh shit, you know, and I love the juxtaposition of those two things when songs will do that, when they'll, you know, kind of like Pushing My Patience, you know, where like,
it's about the message. It's all about the message, right? That's what it's all about. And I'm sorry if people were offended because we changed the rhythm or something of two beautiful songs, which they are. It's the message. It's about the message.
But again, that kind of comes back to what we were saying before about, identity crisis, right? Like that, because if you do the songs the same way, people could criticize you for going, well, we already heard that. Why'd you have to cover it again? Right. So, I mean, I think, it's a weird thing to be a musician where, especially an originals musician. Because again, I am mostly in cover bands, but I do write originals. I've been in an original band, so I know the difference there. It is a very odd place to be a musician who is writing originals and trying to appeal to an audience and be likable without pandering or limiting yourself to only what the audience thinks they're going to like, because there's a lot of stuff that the audience will hear and go, okay, well, that was me, 5 months ago. Like, am I going to sit down and listen to an entire, death metal album? No. But now I do that regularly now. Like, that's a thing that I do. And I needed to be educated to understand that would be something that I would do. But if you had asked me months ago, I would have said no. So somebody could sit there and complain because you're rearranging a song or a set of songs. First of all, that's what mashups do. So like, what's the problem?
We got another one as well. We got another cover we do, and that's the Doors, Roadhouse Blues, and what?
Deep Purple.
You say that. You say
Black
we
Knight.
do it, but we haven't done it for
Yeah, I know.
We
Yeah.
haven't even jammed it.
I didn't see it anywhere. Wait, what are the two
No, it hasn't
songs?
been
No, you
recorded.
won't.
No, it's Roadhouse,
Nor should you.
Oh,
Roadhouse Blues, and Deep Purple. What's the song?
Black Knight.
Black Knight. So we
okay.
bring those two together. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Laz is
see,
like,
keep
no.
trying to work it out.
I'm trying to
It
think
does
of what
work.
that would say. Which is the predominant, because one song in a mashup always kind of has to be the anchor, right? So which
Probably
one?
Roadhouse.
Roadhouse.
Okay.
And then it goes
I may
into
need
the-
you guys to send me a copy
Yes,
of that
thank
so
you.
I can hear it, because now I'm really curious. But
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Okay.
never been recorded. It never will. You'll have to come to a live show
okay, great.
and not see it there.
When I
You might
swim
see
there
it
to
on
meet
the
you at the beach, I'll just expect to see that performed. Then you're going to have to perform it at a live show, Laz. So I think the joke is actually on you if you, if you don't think
wow.
people should hear it.
Let's
So,
tell them to say
be
we
careful.
did.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. That way I don't have to swim. Okay. But I mean, one of the things that you guys are gearing up for, or did it already happen? The blues and
New
barbecue?
Zealand Blues and Barbecue
Yeah.
That's
Festival.
upcoming, right?
No, it's it's
November.
upcoming in November.
Okay,
and
so
then we
talk
got
to me.
the Ottawa Cruisin', which is before then as well, and that's a big classic car show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on the
Pretty cool show. It's really
Yeah.
great.
street.
You should definitely come down for that one.
I'm going to be in New Zealand a lot. I'll just come for a weekend or whatever that seems feasible. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Why not?
But so I mean, in terms of playing out live, I mean, do you guys gig a lot? What's the balance between studio, rehearsal, writing, production, and being out playing what you play for crowds?
No, we don't play a lot live at the moment. We have a few things coming up, which we are in rehearsal for at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've just been mainly writing a lot of songs, really.
Mm.
Right,
Mhm.
jamming, trying to stay sharp.
It's. I don't think it's any disrespect to cover bands and stuff, but that's kind of not the angle we wanted to take originally.
Mhm.
Is be playing in pubs and stuff like
It's
that.
quite hard here.
It is really.
Oh
it-
yeah.
You know,
Oh,
to
yeah.
play 4 hours in a row. We have
Could
a lot
be.
of respect for the
Yeah.
guys,
Yeah.
but 4 hours in a row or something, no, we just wanted to take another angle and
There's only really one venue in Tauranga where you can play original music. Probably
Really?
two. One is very small, and the other one is a bit too big. Well, not so much big, but it's you got to be pretty good to get a crowd there.
I got you exclusive. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, it's about building a following.
but we will.
We'll get there.
We'll get out there. I mean, summer's coming up. Yeah, spring's coming up, and then summer, and then we'll push ourselves out, and we'll start doing bigger gigs.
Mm.
But we're also looking for bands, and if they're welcome to get in touch with us in New Zealand, if they want to join us on a little tour and stuff like that, that would be really cool.
Oh wow. Okay. Do you have anybody that you're talking to that you're?
No, I actually saw a band recently over at Toto Street, and I just looked at their links to try and find them. They're called, I think they're called, what are they called? Unit 51.
Okay.
They look really cool, and yeah, just trying to look out for them. And but if you hear us, just get in touch. So
Yeah. Well, I gotta hook you up with my buddy Peter Malthus. He's in New Zealand and he does music reviews too, and he might know some bands that you should. I'll have to.
Man, that'd
Yeah,
be
Roy,
cool.
I'll have to connect you guys.
Yeah,
and
that'd be
see.
really
He's also
cool.
just an awesome person, so you two should know. You really five should know each other. But
Well, he is a
that's so.
Kiwi.
Yeah,
Well,
right. Exactly.
that's what we need. That's what we need.
That's
Yeah.
it. You just collecting Kiwis. But I mean, so okay, so since you are doing a lot of writing,
Yep.
how many songs do you have done? How many songs have you recorded? Is there an album proper coming out at some point? Are you guys just going to keep releasing singles? What's the plan for, putting the music out to the masses?
We
Singles-
don't really
singles
have
at the
any
moment.
plan. The plan is to try and get enough gigs to fund recording, to release recordings,
Ah.
to
That's
get
it.
big gigs, to
Fun
Play that
more
circle.
recordings.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
it's
we
the
just-
old you can't get credit until you have a job and you can't get a job until you have credit. Yeah, I hear
Yeah.
you. Okay, so
Yeah, it's probably going to be singles because an album is probably financially a little bit too difficult at the moment.
okay,
And it's
okay.
just to keep
Yeah.
things going. But
then if we could get enough sort of singles together in reasonable sort of succession, or like do, we were thinking we might do something sort of like a live, if we can get a real good recording of a
Yeah.
live show,
That's-
something like that,
we're
so that we
thinking
can.
Smart. Yeah,
No.
that's very smart.
But that just puts the pressure on performance, that you've actually got to get it right because you're not in a studio and you can't. Oh, hang on, guys, we'll just do. Can we get another take on that?
Yeah.
It
Audiences
feels a bit off
love
there.
that. They love that. They really do. Start a song over 7, 8, 9, 10 times. They love that. They'll go. The crowd knows. Yeah,
Yeah.
Gets the crowd going.
A real
Yeah, you
feeling.
just throw sheep into the audience. They'll be patient with you. It'll be
They'll
fine.
keep
But
them around.
but I mean that's what about, I mean, what about self-producing? If it came to that, is anybody in the band remotely aware of how to do any of that if you had to, just to
Oh
get
yeah,
stuff
we're
out?
all highly qualified engineers.
Okay.
Well, Mike
We could.
knows a thing or two about a thing or two, and Grant knows a thing or two about a thing or two, and we got a little bit of gear to do that sort of thing. Like we do, like just kick around recordings of practices and stuff to listen back and bounce back and
Okay.
things like that. But as far as getting like a radio quality thing, might be
Mm.
little
yeah,
bit more of a
that's
push.
it's a bit different. But
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
think we just need to invest a bit more gear, but we need to get some more shows so that we can make some more money.
Sounds a little bit disorganized, I know, but at the end of the day,
No, it
we're just
doesn't.
really-
No.
we're just really enjoying what we do.
Yeah.
Does
Yeah.
that make sense? You know,
Yeah,
we
and
really
it
enjoy
doesn't
going to the
sound
practice
disorganized.
room,
It
jamming.
yeah, it sounds like you guys would have, if you had, ample funds lying around, which I think is one of the obstacles for most indie bands. You would know exactly what you were doing. You would get together, you would jam, you would write stuff, you'd go back and tighten it up, finish up the lyrics, go into the studio, record it, put out a video for it, and release it. Like, that doesn't sound disorganized at all. But what I'm hearing is, well, in order to be able to do that, we have to have the money. And in order to have the money, we have to get shows. And in order to get shows, we have to be known so that we can get booked and people don't know us because our music isn't.
Yeah.
That's not disorganized. That's just situational. You're certainly not alone in that. Certainly not alone in that.
we do.
So-
We have enough songs to put an album out. We've written quite a few songs.
We just need a wealthy benefactor who likes the sound of us. If you know anyone,
If I did, yeah. But I mean, and I one of the things I got to suggest to you is maybe put a clarion call out on that, on like Band Together, because there are people in that group who might be able to help. You don't know. And everybody's, I mean, even the people the hardcore crew that watches every episode of this show, hi guys, they know a lot of people. You just, if it's who you know, we know a lot of people at this point. You just, you
Cool.
might as well ask. You never ever know. But okay. So, I mean, you've gone through with me, that the routine is basically Mutt thinks of a thing. Everybody does an amazing thing of their own behind it. Roy comes up with the melody, then the lyrics come later and your song is done. Okay, so talk to me about the other stuff that's on YouTube, because you've got Fat Boy, you've got Twisted Fool. We talked about the mashup with War and what's going on. We talked about Pushing My Patience, but you've got Time Stand Still for No One. You've got Money Honey. That sounds so funny to say. And you've got Ride. Now, Ride is another Loose Moorings song, right?
Yeah, it is, but we play it still as well. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so for those, because I wasn't entirely sure if you know, they were covers I didn't know, or if they were originals.
It's Rehab cover. Oh no, yeah,
they're all originals, but that's what we're trying to do as a band now, is that we pick up the old Loose Moorings or Hybrid Blues songs as a quick pickup.
Mm-hmm.
What we're trying to do in the practice rooms is try and develop our own songs as Rehab.
Sure.
So we still play a lot of those songs and stuff in the background as pickups and stuff, but we are still trying to develop, and we have got our own songs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, you got to write a lot of songs.
got to just keep running. Yep.
Oh, and to be clear, I wasn't complaining. I liked all that stuff. I was just curious where it came from. Because I mean, I knew about, you know, Loose Moorings and Ride and everything, but your videos are also all engaging one way or the other. Like the Money Honey video is very funny.
Oh yeah.
It's very funny, and
that's also a money thing as well.
Laz, you got to catch up, man. Do you guys not let Laz know that you have a YouTube channel, because he seems as surprised?
We've been together for a long time, so yeah.
No, I mean, it's real. So talk to me about that video, because you know,
tell me about it.
yeah. So I mean, one of the things, of course, that's so funny in that is the dancing, right? So, you know, you've got the dude in the office with the chair, and he's just, you know, and he's all over the place and throwing his feet up in the air, somersaulting over the chair. What happened there? How did that? Talk to me about that video.
You know, it's basically about spending hours on a computer making up a video. And that's what I did with Twisted Fool and a lot of those ones as well. It just saves money. It's a money thing. It's a finance thing.
I gotcha.
So, yeah, and then sometimes when you're creating the video, it changes direction because you haven't got enough film to match the other one. So yeah, that's what happened. So it all came together.
Okay.
But I think if anything, we were just a little bit disappointed in the original recording of Money Honey. So that's why we went to 11B to do Fat Boy and Twisted Fool.
Twisted Fool, yeah.
Just to get a better recording. Yep.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's one of the things that, you know, directly or indirectly that we end up talking about a lot on Vox and Guest is that, you know, just as when you're playing out live, the sound engineer is another member of the band, because they will make or break you.
Oh, yeah.
The production, you know, the guys, you know, the people mixing and mastering and producing the songs in the studio are the same way, you know, and that is one thing with 11B that you guys clearly, you had a good partnership there, because the production is so good. It's so good.
He's from Chicago, actually.
Oh, really?
He is a very, very cool guy, very knowledgeable, and
it's good to work
a
with.
real pleasure to work with. It really was.
Yeah. No,
it's easy, no stress, just the right sort of attitude.
Yeah.
It's like,
just
no, that was good. Do it again. Yeah, no, that was good. Do it again.
Excellent. Do it again.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we got it.
But I mean, you need that, because if people say do it again, but they don't say, oh, yeah, excellent first, then you're going to be like, well, that sucks. And it's probably going to make the next take worse, right? You know, but if he's buffing you up that it was great, but I think this could be even better, I think that does get you to the sweet spot.
Yeah,
that's a fair thing to do.
You need that.
Yeah.
It's great. Really good to work with.
No, and I mean, it's when you hear something that's produced really well, you might not be thinking about it, but everybody pops. You know, everybody pops. All of that space is allotted exactly the way it needs to be. And, you know, it makes you guys sound like you've been, spending years in the studio. I mean, it really does. It's very professional. It's very tight. It's very clean. So kudos to 11B because, you took good because I've heard great music ruined by bad production too. And I've heard terrible music that actually sounds passable because the producer really knows what they're doing. So when you have a great band like you guys, and then you have a great producer like 11B, that's when all the magic happens. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
okay, so just to come back a little bit to the upcoming stuff. So you've got this Blues and Barbecue Festival in November. You're rehearsing for that. Anyone who happens to want to get tickets to that, where are they going?
I just look it up on Facebook, New Zealand Blues and Barbecue Festival.
Okay. Roy is leaving you to your own devices. He's telling you to Google that shit. So
Well, I'm
www.bluesandbarbecues.co.nz.
Woo!
I don't know. That'll get you there if you Google that shit.
okay, well there you
And then we
go.
got Ottawa. Ottawa Cruising.
T Ottawa.
No, actually, it's called Ottawa.
Oh.
Ottawa Cruising. Spelled AROHA.
Okay.
Aroha.
Because at first I was like, you're going to Canada? I'm like, why are they going to Ottawa? And I was like, oh, that's not. I was like, that's weird. And I was like, that can't be right. I was like, that cannot be right. Yeah, I was like, they would have told me if they were going to be Canada, I could maybe walk to. Yeah, that's a walkable thing. I could get there. But
and then before then, we've got a gig where we help out young musicians, young players at Totara Street, which is local in Mount Maunganui. And
Church
on Sunday. And it's a whole day really just helping out young musicians, and it's free, and it's a cool we've invited along Area 51, they're called. And Sean is currently in America at the moment playing for the World Champions guitar.
Okay.
Yeah,
So when you
Sean Lerman. Sean Lerman.
When you say helping out young musicians, is it like teaching them stuff? Is it just giving them a platform to play?
Like you're showcasing them.
Just go out there and abusing them to really build them up, toughen them out.
Oh, don't say that. That's terrible. Oh my God.
You guys suck. No, come on. You need to get tougher if you got to be in this industry.
That was great. Do it again. That was great. Do it again. Yeah. All right. Don't listen to Laz. He's just trying to frighten all of you. That's the hazing. Don't listen to Laz.
That's right.
We've been connected with Sean since he was 13, Hybrid Blues, and we were playing at blues festivals and stuff like that. We just followed him. He's now gone to America to play for the World Championships, and then he's coming back, and then he's going to have his 3-piece band feature next to us and the Totara Street.
Oh, that's very cool. All right, so you guys have some things coming up. You just have to earn a lot of money somehow at all of these things so that you can get in the studio and record the stuff, because that's frustrating for me as somebody who likes your music, that we're going to have to wait to hear more of it because just funding. And so I can imagine how frustrating it is for you guys to have all these songs ready to go.
We'll find a way.
Of course you will.
Like I said,
but it's backing.
I think the live recording's a good option. You don't get that crisp studio shine where you sound like production amazing, but as long as the performance stands up and you get a good live take and the sound's right, you can sort of mix it to a point where it's like, okay, it's live, but it still sounds really good.
Right.
And it's a really nice and cheap way to put a video together, is just,
I think so.
Live
well, and it's also better than the alternative, which is people not getting to hear it at all.
Yeah. That's it.
I mean, that's the other option. I would go with the less than perfect that gets the songs out there. That would be my vote. I would definitely go for that. But okay, so before we wrap it up, is there anything else that you guys wanted to mention? Anything else that you guys wanted to let me know about that's coming up? Anything that you're super excited about?
I would personally want to thank you and Greg and Voxandstix for doing this, and same with all the radio stations that have been playing our music for nothing.
Yeah,
and giving us support throughout the whole thing. New Zealand Blues and Barbecue Festival for still having faith and supporting us.
Yeah.
Ottawa Just, anyone that sort of still supports us and stuff, we say thank you very much. We really appreciate that. From a band that's sort of not struggling, but building up a finance and stuff, it's much appreciated. Thank you so much.
No, absolutely. No, look, I mean, it's funny because it's a weird thing to get thanked for doing something that I want to do and enjoy doing so much. And I know Greg feels the same way, that, this community, you guys are all so talented. You really are. And your band, the bands that we interview, the musicians that we interview, and everybody really is so lovely, and could be really cutthroat, and could be really, if they knew of a radio station that was looking to play somebody, they could hoard that information to themselves, and everybody's sharing it. And I love that. Yeah. And I mean, that we need more of that in the world. So
I think it's all about kindness, isn't it? And love, really. Otherwise,
that's it. That's
what it's all about. I think we should just take away all the selfishness and just try and help each other rather than doing all this sort of stuff. Ego trips and stuff. It's crap. So
look at that. Spoken like a true Kiwi. Look at that. Look at that. Okay. I don't know if you've seen it before or whatever. Most of you at least probably haven't, but I do like to wrap up every show with a little segment that we call In the Vox Seat. So I ask everyone who comes on this show the same 5 questions. And I would like to get answers from each of you on these. So the first question is, this will be interesting given the conversation that we've had. I bet I know what Laz is going to say, but if you have to sum up Rehab's music in 5 words or less, what would you say? And you each get 5 words.
Do I know 5 words?
We just did it.
Jamming out loud. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jamming
out loud.
Just jamming. Yeah.
Keeping in the groove.
Keeping in the groove. Okay, jamming out loud.
Play along with Mutt.
That was kind of along the lines of what I thought Laz was going to say, actually. What is it, Laz?
4 blokes making fun tunes.
Okay, I like that too. It isn't going to be cool band having identity crises. You weren't going to go with
that. Yeah.
Well, you're allowed one too, I suppose.
You know what? We put all of those answers together. That sums up our conversation tonight quite nicely, actually, which is interesting. But okay, so for each of you, then the next question is: what is your favorite thing about being a musician?
Just having fun. That's
okay.
it.
Definitely the sheep.
I knew the sheep were going to come back. I knew it.
Praise.
Yeah.
Mine's, I love it when the band improvises and it comes together.
Mm-hmm.
That is a special moment for me.
Yeah. It's the.
There's a feeling when a band clicks that it's a very unique feeling.
Yeah.
Very, very fleeting.
Yeah.
But there's no other situation where you get that particular feeling when a band is really on the money, really kicking. And there's a fleeting moments of this feeling that is unique to that situation.
I know the feeling and I love it. I'm right there with you guys.
I'm sure you do.
That's the one for me. It's not necessarily when it's always great being in front of a good crowd and you've got a good rapport and you're getting that buzz from that. Yeah. But that's a great feeling in itself. But I think the real magic is, can be when it's just the 4 of you and you just sort of jamming along and something happens and it's it's like Ron says, it's fleeting and it's really hard to explain. There's no real words to it, but there's like almost like you're in this other place for a moment and you sort of lose yourself, but you're really locked in and everything's just works. And there's this feeling you get and it's blissful and it's like, wow.
Euphoric.
Yeah. You know what, Laz? I love you for saying that specifically because one of the biggest pieces of negative feedback that my band gets for being an internet band, because we are, I don't know if you guys know, I know Roy probably does, but and the interview's not about me, but I'm getting back to your point that, most of the band has never met. We do everything live in real time online and we don't have live audiences. And people will say, you're not real musicians, then you're not really making music because you're not playing in front of a crowd or whatever. And you just articulated why. Yes, it's great to have a crowd. It's great to get that feedback. It's great to feel that energy coming back to you. But if the band is where it needs to be, you can have exactly that moment that you just described, where it feels like when you're doing something difficult, whatever it is, and you stop thinking about it, and it's like your body and your brain and your fingers in your mouth, and you're just doing it. And if you stopped to think about it, the whole thing would fall down. But you're all in that moment at the same time. And I know I as you're describing it, each of you in your own ways, I'm getting that goosebumpy thing, because I'm remembering moments where with Vox and Stix or other bands where I've had that, and it is, and it's like, you open your eyes at the end of it almost and go, what the fuck was that? And then like, let's do that again. And you can't make it happen. You can't force it. It happens or it doesn't. So I love that you said that, because that to me is music and musicianship in its purest form.
Yeah.
So I see Laz is the New Zealand poet laureate now for me, because he just articulated that. Not that your sheep answer wasn't great, Grant. Don't get me wrong, but but
that's why we have to record our practices as well, because it's more than likely we'll forget next time.
Yeah, it's no, and I don't understand why bands wouldn't do it, because you never know what you're going to capture on that would be gone otherwise. So I think it's just so smart to do. But no, I love that you guys each kind of came to the same answer. You came at it from different directions, but as soon as you said that, Mutt, everyone was like, oh yeah. See, again, Mutt came up with a riff, and then everybody. Okay. Yeah. So this now I'm curious, because it's the flip side of the question, which is, what is your least favorite thing about being a musician?
Media work, straight off.
Bloody
it's a full-time job. Yeah, interviews.
Not the interviews.
No, that's what Laz said.
No, it's just all that extra promotion stuff. It just takes over. It's like another job, and it's horrible.
It absolutely is.
And Mutt knows as well, because Mutt's done it before with the electric.
It's probably the business side of it. So,
it's the business side.
It's not. It's carrying a bag full of cymbal stands. That's the
drummer always talks about schlepping the gear around. That's always the job. I always feel, being a drummer's wife, I can empathize, because it's like, I come in with my little microphone and I'm like, okay, I've loaded in, and then Greg's standing there like, he needs a Sherpa, he's got the drums all over, so I totally understand. Yeah. All right, Laz, my serious poet laureate friend, what is your answer to the least favorite thing? Besides doing this interview, as you said.
I was just wondering. Yeah, that's a bit of fun. Least favorite thing.
If you have one.
Not really, I mean,
it's good if you have to think about it this much. There's nothing that's just leaping out at you. Not having money for recording, maybe.
Favorite thing. Yeah. The amount you get paid to play is probably the least favorite thing, but you're still getting paid to play, so fuck it. If you get into music for the money, you're surprised.
You've made a horrible mistake. Okay, so again, kind of the business side piece of it, that need to make money to live thing that's so pesky for all musicians. But okay, all right, good answers. This one, I have no idea what you guys are going to say, because we didn't even really touch on it much at all, except for your originals backgrounds. And I apologize in advance, because people generally hate this question. But if you each could only pick one album to listen to for the rest of your lives, what album would you pick and why?
Wow, that's probably the hardest question in the world.
Yeah. Revolver.
Okay, all right. So you're going with Beatles. So why that one specifically?
I I was at a certain age where I was experimenting with certain things, and
Okay. Accordion, right? Yeah.
Revolver, and yeah, and it's
Okay.
fantastic. It's a wonderful album.
What were
Okay,
you
so in addition to being a great
experimenting with,
album,
different coffees and stuff, mate.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
It's different
Exotic
kinds of
teas,
coffee
yeah.
and-
Yeah.
Different times.
so mostly
Colours,
nostalgia
yeah.
and it just being a really good album, like where you were in your.
I mean,
Okay,
it's a fabulous album.
absolutely. Okay, all right. Who else wants to take a crack at this? They all look so unhappy. Laz is back there rubbing his temples. Why? She asked.
Yeah, I don't think I think I'd just go with silence because I can't pick one. You know, some days I'm in the mood for Sublime, or there's like Robert Johnson, or maybe some Tool or some Slipknot, or let's go for some Pearl Jam and Soundgarden. It's like I don't.
So you would make like a mixed. You would make like a mixed playlist. That's what
Oh,
you.
yeah,
Would do.
are you allowed to do that?
Well, you are now. I wrote the question, so I can make the rules. But no, you're not. But I hear what you're saying. So you
know
could
that.
not. You could
There's one
not pick
answer.
an album. Okay, you could not pick one album. I hear you would really go with silence. You would rather that than even choosing one.
Well, yeah, it'd have to be some sort of compilation of the
Okay.
60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and today.
And choosing one.
Now
you're-
that's what I call music.
Oh.
89. Okay, gotcha.
okay.
Okay, all right. So Laz can't really choose. All right.
Just too much of
Roy?
a musical leprechaun.
I just go anything with free, the band free.
Oh, I thought you were going to say anything you could get for free, and I'm like, well, okay, that might not be the best music.
That
Free.
sounds good.
The
Okay.
band free. Paul
You
Rogers.
did
Yeah.
actually mean that.
Good
All
on you,
right.
Greg.
So what about you, Mutt?
At the moment, I'm listening to Government Mule. That's my favorite at the moment. My music changes. You know, my favorite band changes all the time.
Like his underwear.
Thank God for that. So so you would be picking a Government Mule album for your Desert
I
Island?
don't know the name of the album, but yeah, I can't remember the name of the album that I'm listening to at the moment, but I love it.
So you're just picking the album that you're listening to right now as your
Pretty
forever
much.
and ever. Okay. Wow, it's a really good thing you're not listening to like you know, I don't know, Carly Rae Jepsen or some really some
No,
You would
I'm
regret
digging
it.
these songs. I've
Okay,
been a bit of a
Government
fan.
Mule.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You guys have each answered 4 of the 5 most difficult questions. This last one, though, this is the biggie. Okay, we started out with a huge, serious philosophical question.
42.
Hobbits and sheep. Good answer. Answer to everything. I like it. Okay, here it comes. Your toilet paper roll. Okay, when it's on the wall, if it is, does the toilet paper come down from over the top, or do you pull it out from under the bottom of the roll, and why?
Well, the reason I pull it out from any direction is quite self-explanatory.
Yeah, I'm not looking for the reason you use toilet paper.
Over the top, I think.
If you go back and look at the original 1823 patent, I think you'll find it comes over the top.
Somebody
You're right.
always mentions the patent. Okay, so are you an
gotta be
over the
over-
top?
Really?
I mean, I know you're an over the top guy in general, Az, but are you a toilet paper over the top guy as well? Okay,
Yeah.
all right. we've got
Everything's got to be over the top.
one over the top. Okay. Grant is just busy talking about why he's using
Under.
toilet paper.
Under.
Oh, you're an under?
Toilet
I'm an under.
Oh, wow. I
Underarm.
didn't know
I'm
that.
an under.
I suppose you're
What
like,
does- what does that mean?
You learn
What does
something
that
new.
mean?
Very
What does an under
exclusive
mean?
club.
You know a guy.
Eh?
I think you're one of 3 or 4 ever on this show to say under. Okay, tell me why. Because Dom from Jansteak is really
because
happy right
I'm
now.
a Virgo and I prefer it under. That's it.
Okay,
That's it.
there you go. That's all there is to it. All right, Mutt,
Mine's over the top.
over the top. Okay. All right.
Always over the top.
Just gonna roll right by that. Okay, so 2 over the top, 1 under for reasons I wish I hadn't asked. And Grant, you got to commit.
Oh, yeah, I'm over the top. Yeah,
Over the top.
yeah, without a doubt.
Look at that, 3 out of 4.
There's always the mount the roll holder sideways, and then you've got to Off the side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what about this
Grimrock,
as well?
Well,
You
one
go
of the
into the
musicians that I've interviewed, Grimrock, wants
Okay,
to
here's a
put
question
toilet
for
paper.
you. Here's a question for you, Chris.
Yeah.
When you go into the men's loo and you wash your hands afterwards, what's the first thing you got to grab to get out of the loo?
First of
A
all,
handle.
bold
So
of you
what's
to
the
assume
point?
that I go into the men's loo.
Yeah.
But
yeah, you do.
Yeah, well, no, I'm sure you have at some point, but yeah, the first thing you got to grab is a bloody handle. So what's the point in washing your hands? That's what I'm saying. That's all I'm
Because
saying.
you can
Yeah.
wash your hands, you mongrel.
Yeah, but you're still grabbing your handle, aren't you? Yeah.
that's what you do is you wash your hands, you
Yeah.
dry them with the paper towel,
Yeah.
use the paper towel to open the door.
Oh,
That's what you
see,
do.
that's a
This is
girly
why
thing,
I
eh?
get paid the big
No,
bucks.
that has to be a girly thing, that one.
Yeah.
But it's smart. That's really
You're like,
smart.
I'd rather just wipe my ass with my hand and then open the door. That's
really
Roy.
good.
You've learned
Well,
a
there you
valuable
go.
life skill.
I
Thank you
have.
so much.
I won't get so pissed off anymore. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Okay, guys. So we've been on a wild ride, to say the least. But I think everybody's going to like you as much as I did going into this now that they've seen you. The music is really good. It's just really good. And whatever genre you're doing or genres you're doing, the music is really good. And
Thank you.
that's the bottom line. And I have to hope that that means that you guys get the gigs that you need to get the money that you need to do the recording that you need so that we can hear more of you.
Yep.
So,
That's
and
it.
you guys heard it. Anybody in New Zealand or anybody anywhere who wants to kick in with them and, either go on the
Yeah.
little tour or whatever,
Always keen to do shows. It's just hard being a single band doing a show. So if you get a couple of bands together, sweet as. Let's go play some gigs and make some noise. Rock some
Okay.
people up.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's the one.
So guys, you got to go Rehab with 2 A's, NZ, right? Go
Yeah.
like them everywhere. Follow them on Spotify. Listen to the music. Look for the sheep, the hobbits, whatever.
And send us your money.
Send them your money. But thank you guys for coming on this show and
No
chatting with me. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you
you.
very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you very
Cheers,
much. Thank you for the
You
time.
are very welcome.
Thank
All
you.
right, guys, that's it. That's another Voxing guest. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Hey, Corneta.
Awesome.